Well, that was pretty boring then. Arsenal beat Luton to go top of the Premier League once again after a 2-0 win in a game that not a lot happened in. However, a lot of squad players actually got a run in this game and a few of them even started. So let's talk about their performance and how it could shape the rest of the season for Arsenal. Let's get into it. So I wasn't going to make a video about this game, but I thought I still wanted to talk about some of the squad players that happened, and that is because this game overall was very boring. Both teams seemed kind of flat. I thought Luton were going to come out and try and press us and play, but they had a lot of injuries and they didn't really seem up for it on the day. And I think the big misses of some players like Lokongo really screwed them in defence, allowing us to kind of comfortably play a substitute team and win easily, which is obviously very good for the future and the game we got at the weekend, but it weren't a brilliant performance. Now, I think in this game, I've seen a lot of people say it, that the squad players kind of proved why they are squad players. I think personally Smith Rowe came in and was really good in this game, especially in that first half. I thought he was quite encouraging and actually tried to contribute and did. I think both goals are kind of down to him, but I don't think the other players were hugely effective. Now, it definitely is a bit of a surprise because there's a lot of core players that you don't really see playing. We didn't have Declan Rice start the game, who obviously has been playing a lot. We didn't have Saka start the game, so it was kind of down to people like Odegaard and Havertz, especially in the attacking line, to be the only consistent players that play to get us over the edge, and in the end I would say that they did. Now, I didn't expect us to thrash Luton, and when I saw the starting 11 I still didn't really expect that, and in the end we just got the job done. We scored 2 very early goals, or 2 in the first half, and that was basically all we needed to do. Luton tried a little bit, I guess. They had a couple of shots that got blocked, but they didn't really actually give it a go, and we were sort of preparing our team for the weekend game against Brighton, and Luton was sort of preparing their team against games that they expect to probably get more result in, and it was a bit of a standoff of teams not really trying. But I think the most credit today actually goes to Mikel Arteta. Now, a lot of people aren't going to be happy with the performance and people aren't really going to care, which I don't overly. I'm actually impressed that he finally switched out the squad and actually played the players we expected to play. And I think this week we've seen such an evolution from Mikel Arteta that it is genuinely getting scary. On the weekend, he definitely put his ego aside for one game and turned into a Diego Simeone style to get a point at the Etihad. And now a lot of people are not going to like that, but I don't really care. Last year we didn't do that and we tried to play our normal game and got absolutely destroyed home and away. Finally, he's realised that you can't do that against Man City and he's going to have to shut up shop and hope for a goal. Of course, we didn't get it, but we didn't concede either, so it ended up getting us a better result than we got last year. And now today, he's actually rotating and trusting his squad players. Now, I don't like it when he plays cup games and he rotates everyone because our team looks considerably weaker, and I still think some of the main players need to be there, like Odegaard, the captain, to tell people where to go and set them aside. But when you've got the solid defence of Ben White, Gabriel and Saliba like we had for this game, it's okay to play some other players. It's only Luton who didn't seem like they really were up for it anyway, and we can definitely test out some players that might have to play for the rest of the season with the fact we've got a game every 3 to 4 days. This coupled up with the fact we've got a big game against Brighton away at the weekend, then Bayern are coming up, makes sense that we would get some players a rest. Like Declan Rice obviously didn't start, it came on later, but it was fine. Saka is obviously out of the squad, got a bit of a knock still, and that's fine, rest him for this. We even didn't rush back players like Martinelli, kept him on the bench for today, and people like Jesus also didn't play, which I expect maybe if Martinelli isn't as fit will probably still start on the weekend. And the fact that Brighton also played a very strong team at the same time of us obviously gives us a little more confidence going into the weekend because our team will have overall a lot more rest. And in the end, it was enough to get the job done. I think that's what a lot of people were saying. Our team, our squad players, I think proved they are squad players, but at the end of the day, it was enough to get the team winning. But I did like some of the systems that we played. I think Zinchenko actually played quite well in this game, and I think him coming into midfield, helping people like Partey and Smith Rowe while also going out on the left to help Trossard really helped. I actually thought he's very encouraging in this game. He is good against teams like this that don't really want to have the ball and just let us have 80% possession. And maybe it's not really relevant for the rest of this season, but I think going into next season, it's really good that he can trust his squad players. I don't think all of them should play. I think Thomas Partey even today was a bit off it. A lot of people have been complaining about his off the ball athleticism, how he wasn't good enough getting the ball when he lost it. And at today, it wasn't the biggest risk. It didn't really matter at the end of it. Luton aren't very good. And I will give Partey a little bit of time because he hasn't played a lot of football recently, but a lot of other players haven't played football recently recently and they're back into the game like this, so we can't expect and give Partey so much leeway to be like, well, he's rusty, hasn't played, he needs to eventually show himself, because I still think he will be sold in the summer. Now, a lot of people don't like that take, but in my eyes, we've sold a lot of players for a lot less. Thomas Partey is injury prone, he's barely played this season and he is in his 30s. If you're ever going to get any money for him, 10 to 15 mil will be this summer, if not you're not going to, and there's no point of having a player that's not even fit enough to play in the squad. That's why we got rid of Tierney, and even Granit Xhaka was 30 years old and we didn't think he was part of the team, so we got rid of him. So if he really wants to prove himself, he's going to have to play a lot better than this. And I think when Smith Rowe came in, he hadn't played in a while either. I think Smith Rowe was very impressive, especially in the first half, and I think also Reece Nelson was a bit okay. He tried to come into the middle to do a lot more, but we didn't really go out the right side a lot. There weren't really much support there, funny enough, and he couldn't really do a lot. Unfortunately, he got his goal kind of stolen off him because he missed the ball. But putting these players alongside the defence, it's not really that big of a deal. Ben White, Gabriel and Saliba have only conceded 4 goals in 2024, which is just incredible to see. We keep picking up clean sheets and it doesn't even look like these teams are really going to score. We were very flat today, especially in the second half, and yet Luton, I know they're not the best team in the world, didn't even really get any close to that. So you take it at the end of the day. It's a nice game in midweek to have against a pretty easy opponent that didn't really seem to try. If we were away at Luton, it would have been a different story, and we saw how tough they could be at home, but here at the Emirates they really didn't try, and I'll take the win any day of the week. I do want to give a little bit of a shout out to Ben White. He did that really good Rabona trick that nearly created us a goal and probably should have been a goal, and I really liked his performance yet again. Probably won't get enough credit, and I still think he's been Arsenal's best player in the last few months, which I did a video about yesterday. But overall, all the defence is flawless. You can't even really blame any of them. David Raya is fully the number one now, didn't really have anything to do again, and we'll take it going into Brighton at the weekend, which is going to be a big game. Now obviously we won away at Brighton last year in a 4-2 thrashing, which was a bit of a weird game because so much happened in it. There was offside goals, there was loads of messes of goals. We scored some really great goals but also conceded some. Evan Ferguson scored his first ever goal in that game, and it'll be interesting to see how Brighton play this weekend, because I do not expect us to win there last year, especially after we got thrashed at home later on in the season and in the cup, and we did really good against them this season already, but there's always going to be a threat at home, even though they're not having as great as a season as they did last year. But we end the day as well, we take it and we move on. Arsenal will be top of the league unless Liverpool win tomorrow, which is looking 99% likely because they do play Sheffield United at home. Then we go into the Brighton game having belief. We've still played brilliant this year, and in the Premier League we have played 10 games with 1-9 and we drew away to Man City 0-0. Very impressive, and only conceding 4 goals this year in the Premier League is so impressive, and even then they're mostly down to individual mistakes rather than a full defensive error. And with this defence, I've said it, if you can keep Rice, White, Gabriel, Saliba and Raya fit, then I don't think many people are going to score a lot of goals, and I think Arsenal with that defence alone now has a chance to do anything because they're so solid. It's just we need the attack to fire every week, and we know it's sometimes not like that, and even today against Luton I don't think it was that impressive. I think they struggled a lot, but obviously a lot of them aren't starters, so we'll give him the benefit of the doubt. What do you guys think about this game again? Did you enjoy it, or did you think it was just another job well done and you take it moving forward? And how were you impressed by the players that came in, such as Smith Rowe, Nelson, Zinchenko and Partey? Were you impressed, or don't you think they should get anywhere near the team? Let me know in the comments. Thank you guys for watching. If you want to watch that Ben White video, I would recommend going to watch it yesterday, and if not, I'll see you in the next one.